There was a man named Harlan David Sanders who did a lot of things. What? Okay, I didn't know if you couldn't hear me. Who did a lot of things with his life, including he was a steamboat pilot and an insurance salesman. And at some point he decided he was going to buy a gas station. And he really liked chicken. So he would make these chicken dinners, and when he came to buy gas, you could always buy chicken. And he kept fooling around with the recipe. And finally, at 65, he opened his first restaurant, and he called it Kentucky Fried Chicken. And went on his way to building a fortune. I grew up with the Laura Ingalls Wilder books, Little House on the Prairie. She was a journalist, and she didn't get going until she was 40. She wrote that first book about when she was a little girl at 65. Tolkien, I love Lord of the Rings. I can't wait till the boys are big enough to actually sit through them. I didn't know that he didn't publish the first volume until he was in his 60s. I'm a journalist. We all have dictionaries and thesaurus. Noah Webster didn't publish his first edition until he was in his 60s. And the thesaurus, that guy didn't get going until he was in his 70s. Cornelius Vanderbilt didn't start buying railroads till he was in his 70s. John Glenn went back to space at 77. Grandma Moses picked up the paintbrush at 75. The lady who started the Christian Science Monitor started publishing it at 87. And Michelangelo, one of his, we all know about some of his portraits and some of his statues, but the church he loved the most, he didn't design until he was 90. So it really is not over till you say it's over. And in fact, sometimes age and patience gives you a perspective that you don't have when you're young and impatient. There's a poet named David White, and he does a lot of corporate speaking. You can sometimes buy his tape. And he likes to tell a story about Thomas Edison, who was right up the road in New Jersey, and of course was trying to develop the light bulb and get electricity going, and talk about a lot of failures. They tried and failed hundreds of times. Finally, a young assistant came to him and despaired, you know, we failed almost 1,000 times. And Edison calmly looked at him and said, no, we've learned almost 1,000 times what doesn't work. Isn't that wonderful? But eventually he did get it to work. And he was asked by a reporter how it felt to fail 1,000 times. And Edison answered, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. So I think a lot of it is how you choose to look at that dream and what you want to do. And so of course the question is, how do you get from a seat in this room this morning to figuring out what is my dream and then executing it? Just simply ask, what is my dream? And give yourself permission to have that dream. Don't think about who might pass judgment or say it's crazy. It's a little but powerful step. But for most of us, a big part of a new dream is fear. That fear that you will finally step out there and do that thing. I will write that book and it will be deemed the worst book ever written. So how do you change that? The reality, actually, is that maybe you should ask yourself, what if the true tragedy was that you never gave yourself the chance to fail? We all keep hearing about Silicon Valley and all the digital stuff. And they've got a mentality out there called fail faster. Because the faster you fail, the faster you get to success. And just about everybody they consider an icon had to fail over and over again. Or as Henry Ford said, failure provides the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. I would imagine most people in this room have lived lives of responsibility. You've been focused on spouses and children, on employers, on doing the things that you have to do. But this time, these years belong to you. These are your years to be happy and to choose the dream of what's going to take you there. As the actor John Barrymore said, a man is not old until regrets take the place of dreams. So thank you for letting me be here with you today, and I wish you lots of great pursuits, lots of failures, new dreams, and no regrets. Thank you.